mai kwana aiki kira shi da jan zaki ya bar sai da mamaki hasada ta zamo taki ta kira sararin daki ga masu cikin bila Tinubu da shan Allah an kuma Tinubu kiwar kalla babu masu kasa jumla gada musu sakula ga mai babban lamba gada musu kasa ba lamba ta ɗayan lamba kake hana kankan ba barka da zuwa barkanka da sauka oyo oyo malam asuwaju shi bola zan kare kai a muku bai haddasa uga da rago ba kishi na kasa shi ne aka ba nasa ba faɗi ba a zubar ba tun yanzu alfitar ya ce ta banke kudu ba ku gani ba da arewa da wayancin kudu ya zama dole su gode wa na kowa sannu da hanya a zuwa jin masu cewa sun nufi ba shi da lafiya yan gama harshe da haƙori zancen banzawa ya gaya muku mun hana tusa ta yi wari a komai lafiya ko mara lafiya bai hana sa'i ya yi gauri sarki mai sama Allah
1990, Sharp Rock jumps upon the scene with a lean and a pocket full of green. The green doesn't symbolize I made it on the top, but RoboCop last year was a shock. The tone of the Popeye cut shook your butt. Kids are screaming, the media says what? Kind of music is this for you to dance to? The man with the plan and the band demands you. Leave the smack and the crack for the whack, for the ball and the knock, keep a smile like that. Leave the knife and the gun in the store and ignore temptation set by the nation. Facial game cause his pain needs a new rep in your heart.
Emi look on, don't turn, Emi look on. Yorubas are screaming, Hausas are crying, my Igbo brothers are saying, don't blame them, Igbos are being discriminated. Even food don't turn to gold in Nigeria. Kidnapping, lucrative business in Nigeria. Imagine saying your grandchildren where they kidnap. By now, your soldiers for don't scatter Nigeria. How come a man won't get money for ransom when they kidnap him, his wife and his children? After everything, now kill, they go kill them. See, as Naira, they fall against dollar. Emi Lokon, don't turn to Ebi Lokon. And you say make we sacrifice for Nigeria. 7 billion to renovate your residence, 15 billion for your traveling allowance. That's not for you and your only vice president. 40 billion for Asurok maintenance, 5 billion for food and refreshment, 100 of millions for dogs and animals. Meanwhile, hunger they kill Nigerians. What did Nigerians do to warrant this treatment? Even Gary, they no fit afford for the family. Tinubu government blame Buhari. Buhari government blame Jonathan. Hunger day, people they die. This one don't pass jaga jaga. Oh. Emi Lokon, OTB Emi Lokon, Baba Emi Lokon, Edaku Emi Power. Emi Lokon, OTB Emi Lokon, Baba Emi Lokon, Edaku Ojetiwo. Tinubu was APC party leader during Mr. Buhari Jaga Jaga government. Why didn't you help Buhari to solve the problem? Debt under Buhari, 77 trillion. No proof of any positive transformation. Unborn children ain't go pay for this evil. You know, say Buhari was incompetent, but you still bring him to destroy Nigeria. Paddy government, now you are the president. Since Buhari don't destroy Nigeria, I hope say you go free bring him to judgment. Emefiele printed.
ti fẹ́ kọ orin àyájọ́ ni. Orin àyájọ́ ni. Wọ́n dìde, wọ́n pínlẹ̀ ogun. Oyin tí mo rí ká bá mi wá yẹn dà. Ká ní kó bá mi wá.
And it is right there. Aman Nawapane will beat them to death. So that's what Tinubu just said there. And true to his word, he did beat them to death. Imagine the crying. Look at anytime you reflect on the 2023 elections, you just marvel. You know, anytime he did say Aman Nawapane, and he summarily went on to do exactly that. He beat them to death. You know, so Aman Nawapane, and anytime you reflect on the 2023 elections, you look upon it with befuddlement. So, Omoyele Sowore has been traversing all of the social media spaces, telling us how he was rigged out of that election, insisting that he won. Peter Obi has been traversing all over the social media spaces, telling us how he won the election, how he was treated, insisting that he won. Atiku Abubakar has been traversing all over the social media spaces, telling us how he won the election and he was cheated. So every single person won the election, apart from the person that actually won the election. That one did not win. He cheated. So that's the story of Nigeria. That's how we roll. But like he said, and I think he's sharpening up his cane for 2027 again to administer another summary flogging. Summary flogging, but no flogging going on here. Hugs and kisses all the way through. So good day to you. By the way, you know, I do this every day, and I cannot recall yet a single time that I have not started with nervous energy. I'm not quite sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but I always start off with nervous. The adrenaline just surges, and then and then I have to contain the nerves, and then once that goes, then the flow comes. So I cannot recall when I've not started yet with nervous energy. Good day to you. Good to be in your company. And how are you? Hope you've had a gloriously wonderful day. Do you like the new backdrop, by the way? I've tried to spruce it up a bit, just to zhuzh it up a bit. Tell me if you like it or not. Good day to be in your company. And how are you? So we go again. We always go. And today, no different. We go again today. So we go again, but the protocol remains the same. Click on the like button just as soon as you come in. The like on YouTube, I think it's a like also on Facebook, the equivalent on Twitter, Instagram, and everywhere else. That we stream to a multitude of platforms. You know, we stream to you'll be surprised just how many people watch us. It's quite a sizable amount of people actually. Maybe we'll start getting some advertising in. So yes, click on the like button, do that. And then if you're not already subscribed, the same invitation. So as you flick on the like, if you notice that the subscription button is red, click on it as well. So you're fully subscribed. So like and subscribe. Do those two things, like and subscribe. And then if you want to come and join us on the screen, it's been just so long that we are not even getting the regulars anymore. Never mind the new voices. But it's been that long since that we last birthed a new voice into the space. So if you've not been on the screen before, we're forever canvassing for new voices to expand the stable of the panelists that come here to discuss Nigerian matters. So if you want to be part of the stable, if you want to be part of the gang, then click on that hyperlink that says StreamYard. It will bring you into a studio space. As soon as I finish delivering the body of the talking points, I'll let you onto the screen, then I'll engage you in conversation. Nothing complex, nothing complicated, just as simple as I just described. Click on that hyperlink. It will bring you into a studio. etc., etc. So do that. And then, of course, super chat towards the stream as well. We always encourage that super chat towards the stream. So it's just a nod of appreciation to lubricate what goes on here. I did say we have the anticipation of 5 minimum super chats. We still live in that anticipation. So help us reach that target by being the first mover in that space. Like, share, subscribe. Share the link. Click on the hyperlink that says StreamYard super chat towards the stream. So super chat towards the stream. I was actually going to dedicate this particular session to an esoteric topic around languages from the eastern part of Nigeria. There's a particular language that attributes to that space, and I wanted to explore that language in the course of this session. But then, of course, as always is the case, a bigger news came through in the news cycle, and I summarily changed the headline. So we were going to discuss, and we still will discuss, the language in Nsibidi, and we would delve into the origination of that language, where exactly it comes from. So the light is bouncing off my glass and it's making it look weird on my back. So we'll be delving into language in Nsibidi. So it's one of those efficacious sort of sessions I suspect it might well end up to be. We'll be delving into that language in Nsibidi, and we'll be looking at the origins of it to see who it actually belongs to, because it may not actually have the attribution that it famously has been attributed to. So we look at the language in Nsibidi. We'll look at Daniel Bwala, who of course has been a guest on this platform. And we did put it to him then. I was actually looking for the slot in that appearance to see where we put it to him, if he was angling to become a member of the Tinubu administration, and he gave an evasive answer. So if I'd found that slot, then it would have nicely segued into now this now news that he has now gotten an appointment within the Tinubu administration. He's worked hard enough for it, so deservedly so. Daniel Bwala now a member of the. Is it what's the term of reference for Tinubu now? Because I can't keep up. It started off with Agbado, now Rono, and now it's T-Pain. So Daniel Bwala is now part of the T-Pain gang. So that is the political journey that he's been embarked on. I'll try and reach out to him. I suspect he may not pick up his phone anymore because, of course, now it's a big boy. So the start. And a myriad of other topics to come through as well. So lean back, kick back, take it easy, relax into it. Do those protocols, like and all of those things, and then settle into the session however long it lasts. So settle into the session however long it lasts. Do I even like this, or should I change it? I'll see how it goes, and then maybe I'll change it back at some point. I'll kick it off with what I originally intended to talk about today, which is the language in Nsibidi, which it comes from the eastern part of Nigeria, but where exactly does it come from is the thing. And the only thing why this the only reason why this is a topic of interest, it is because it is one of the oldest written African language, if not the oldest Black African written language. So that's why it's a topic of interest. But who gets the attribution? So we have a look. Pardon me. On Nsibidi and pardon me. I think I need some water. Nsibidi, an ancient system of writing. Nsibidi, an ancient system of writing of the Igbo tribe in Nigeria. So, or does it belong to them? Is really the thing. So, Nsibidi, also known as Nsibiri or Chibididi or Nsibidi, is a system of ideographic writing of symbol indigenous to what is now known as southeastern Nigeria. The system of symbols is estimated to have been around from 400 to 1400 CE. So that tells you then just how ancient it is, but who gets the attribution is the thing. Nsibidi, also known as Nsibiri or Chibidi, is a system of ideographic writing or symbols indigenous to what is now southern Nigeria. The system of symbols is estimated to have been around from 400 to 1400 CE, as the earlier forms of symbols appear on excavated pottery, ceramic tools, and headrests from the Calabar region. So that's really why I wanted to bring this up. So it looks as though the attribution for that in Nsibidi language actually goes to the south-south, almost to the Efik people, rather than to southeastern people, which are the Igbo people. Nsibidi, also known as Nsibiri, is a system of ideographic writing. All symbols are indigenous to what is now southeastern Nigeria. The system of symbols is estimated to have been around from 400 to 1400 CE, as the earlier forms of the symbols appear on excavated pottery, ceramic tools, and headrests from the Calabar region. So the earliest documentation of Nsibidi as a language is actually from the Calabars. It's in Nsibidi. So these are the hieroglyphics, or however what's the terminology that they use? Ideographics. These are the ideographics that constitutes the Nsibidi language. So it's a bit like it's not that dissimilar to the Egyptian hieroglyphics, with symbols representing words and emotions, depending on the inflection of those symbols. So this, for instance, this combination of these two symbols symbolizes love, and this symbol right here symbolizes unity, hatred, etc., etc. So it's actually one of the earliest written forms of language in Africa. But who gets the attribution? I think it goes to the south-south. So one more time, and I'll go through fairly quickly. Nsibidi, also known as Nsibiri, is a system of ideographic writing or symbols indigenous to what is now southeastern Nigeria. The symbol of the system of symbols is estimated to have been around from 400 to 1400 CE, as the earlier forms of the symbols appeared on excavated pottery, ceramic tools, and headrests from the Calabar region. So the Calabars, of course, distinct and different from the Igbo people. Nsibidi is a very exclusive system said to have been primarily used by the Ekpe, that is Leopard Secret Society, also known as Ngbe or Egbo, found amongst the Okoye, Efik, and later adopted by the Igbo people. So it's actually a south-south language, not an. So the attribution for that earliest form of written language in Africa actually goes to the Efik, the Calabaris, etc., etc., not to the southeast as we know it now. So that's just the point. It's just really for the purposes of documentation. Let me take it one more time, and this time I'll speed through. Nsibidi is a system of ideographic writing or symbols indigenous to what is now southeastern Nigeria. The system of symbols is estimated to have been around from 400 to 1400 CE, as the earlier forms of the symbols appear on excavated pottery, ceramic tools, and headrests from the Calabar region. Nsibidi is a very exclusive system said to have been primarily used by the Ekpe Leopard Secret Society, also known as Ngbe or Egbo, found among the Okoye / Efik, and later adopted by the Igbos, by the Igbo people. However, because the largest collection of Nsibidi was found amongst the Ejagbam people of northern Cross River region, the origin of Nsibidi was attributed to them by the colonial administrators. So it's a Calabari Cross River Efik sort of a language. So they get the attribution. I'm not quite sure if they fall under the broader. I suspect they don't, because they tell us they don't. but under the broader Igbo cause. But we can use the word Igbo without being reticent about it. The Western world came to know about Nsibidi in 1904 when T.B. Maxwell noticed the symbol. In 1909, historian and Reverend J.K. McGregor, who studied Nsibidi symbols, claimed in his work Some Notes on Nsibidi that the script was traditionally said to have originally come from baboons and was handed down to the Ugwa-Kima, Ebe, or Uwanga tribe of the Igbo people. This theory was later discarded by historians. It's just the same, isn't it? It goes along those lines of the Igbo people coming out of Egypt and whatnot. It's just it's called world came to know about Nsibidi in 1904 when T.B. Maxwell noticed the symbols. In 1909, historian and Reverend J.K. McGregor, who studied Nsibidi symbols, claimed in his work Some Notes on Nsibidi that the script was traditionally said to have originally come from baboons and was handed down to the Agwa-Kima, Ebe, or tribe of the Igbo people. This theory was later discarded by historians. In the colonial era, T.B. Talbot described Nsibidi as a kind of primitive secret writing, explaining that it was used for messages cut and painted on split palm stems. J.K. McGregor's view was that the use of Nsibidi is that of ordinary writing. I have in my possession a copy of the record of a court case from the town of Inyon or Enyong, taken down in it, and every detail is most graphically described. So it's actually a language of annotation. It's not even for ritualistic purposes. It's a language of annotation for the administration of it's a language of annotation for the administration of governance. That's what really is being said here. It's a language of annotation for the administration of governance. Yeah, let's take it to the end actually. In the colonial era, P.A. Talbot described Nsibidi as a kind of primitive secret writing, explaining that it was used for messages cut or painted on split palm stem. J.K. McGregor's view was that the use of Nsibidi is that of ordinary writing. I have in my possession a copy of the record of a court case from a town of Enyong, taken down in it, and every detail is most graphically described. 500 Nsibidi symbols have been recorded out of the thousands that were believed to have existed. The symbols that deal with warfare and the sacred were taught to secret groups in control of arms of government, whilst many other symbols that deal with love affairs and decorative were commonly known amongst the public and were once taught at school to children. So there it is. That's the language, which gets the attribution for coming out of the South. Nsibidi is used to decorate calabashes, clothing items, wall designs, metals such as bronze, sculptures, swords, and tattoos on the skin. It was also common with the Igbo Uri or Uli graphic design. The Epe Society, which can still be found in present-day Abia State, were often seen to wear particular clothing which had the Nsibidi logographic inscribed on it to formal events. So there it is right there. What I really wanted to establish was that the Nsibidi language is an Efik Calabari language rather than anything else. So there it is in Nsibidi. Remember that guy in Nsibidi that used to come here once upon a time? There it is in Nsibidi. Let's go on from Nsibidi to a different topic. Pardon me, I have a video clip on this one as well, by the way, but it's too long, so I'll just give you the readout. I rejected Adeyanju's plea to become PDP National Publicity Secretary. He has no job, and that's why he decided to turn to a civil society activist. This is Wike applying the smackdown on Adeyanju. In a heated response, the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nsibidi, has rebuked lawyer and activist Adeyanju over his opposition to the recent demolition in Abuja. In Abuja, Adeyanju, alongside fellow activist Vincent Martin Otse, also known as Very Dark Man, in demolition went along Airport Road. During the protest, Adeyanju stated that there is no justification for this demolition, urging President Bola Tinubu to take immediate action on the matter. The protesters carried placards demanding President Tinubu sack Wike over his role in the demolition. In an interview with journalists, Wike dismissed Adeyanju's criticism, suggesting it stemmed from personal dissatisfaction and a bid for attention. Wike alleged that Adeyanju's motivation was driven by his failed attempts to secure a role in the People's Democratic Party PDP. I saw one young man, they called him Adeyanju, he's from Kogi State. Wike said, this young boy came to me that he wants to be the National Publicity Secretary of the PDP. And I said, no. I said he won't be, and he was not. I have no regret about it. He has suddenly become a civil society activist. He has no job, and that is why he decided to turn to civil society, to a civil society activist. So I'm only really bringing you this because there's a lot of undercurrents that plays out that is not in the public glare. A lot of these people, and Dele Farotimi is included, he's had incidents of rejection with Tinubu in the distant past as well. So sometimes you want to be a bit reticent in how you digest a lot of these people. They come with personal angst and personal agenda. So Adeyanju now, a virulent critic of the administration, was once upon a time on his knees in front of Wike begging for a job, only to be kicked in the head, of course. So there's that. So we must always put that caveat. So now to the headline piece. Tinubu appoints former Article campaign spokesman Bwala as special advisor, 3 director generals. So I'm not especially fussed about the 3 director generals. It looks as though anybody that wants a job gets a job with Tinubu, but it looks all the hard work of Daniel Bwala, it looks as though he has now paid off. So you'll be seeing him straddling the screens with even more frequency now. Tinubu appoints a former Article presidential campaign spokesman Bwala as special advisor, 3 director generals. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of 3 Nigerians as director generals of various agencies and 1 special advisor on public communications and media. So I'm not quite sure where the overlap is, but that public communication space, we have Bayo Ononuga there already. We have one other young chap, and now Daniel Bwala. So we don't know. It's going to turn to another Ajuri in Galad. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of 3 Nigerians as Director General of various agencies and 1 special advisor on public communications and media. The newly appointed special advisor is Daniel Bwala, a former spokesman of Atiku Abubakar 2023 presidential campaign organization. Atiku, former vice president, so we know what he did. Bwala was appointed special advisor, media and public communications, State House. So he'll actually be working directly with the presidency. That seems to be what's coming through. Do we have South in London? We don't have South in London, Patrick, but we have South in Nigeria. I think we all know that. So there it is. But the Nsibidi language belongs to the South. That's just what it is. Let's take it from the top again and whiz through. President Bola Tinubu has approved the appointment of 3 Nigerians as Director General of various agencies and 1 special advisor on public communications and media. The newly appointed special advisor is Daniel Bwala, a former spokesperson for Atiku Abubakar 2023 presidential campaign organization. Atiku, a former vice president, contested under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, against Tinubu of the All Progressive Congress, APC, in the 2023 presidential election and lost. You know, when they give us all these backdrops, it's really to pad out the article, because it's only a single insertion article, but they try to pad it out just for the word count. So we didn't really need all that, but there it is. Atiku, a former vice president, contested under the platform of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, against Tinubu of the All Progressive Party, or All Progressive Congress, APC, in the 2023 presidential election and lost. Bwala was appointed special advisor, media and public communications, State House. Other new appointees are Mr. Olawale Olopade, Director General, National Sports Commission, Dr. Ibisoye Fagade, Director General, National Institute of Hospitality and Tourism. What does that even mean? How is that even a parastatal? National Institute of Hospitality and tourism. Is he or she then to be passing the bombs round during events, or what does that even mean? Director General, National Institute of Hospitality and Tourism, and Dr. Adebowale Adedokun, Director General, Bureau of Public Procurement. So that's quite a pushy job, actually. You know, when they are selling off national assets, he will be the one selling them off. So that's a cushy little number right there. Bayo Ononuga, special advisor to the president on information and strategy. I'm pretty sure it was Bayo Ononuga that facilitated for Daniel Bwala. Bayo Ononuga, special advisor to the president on information and strategy, in a statement on Thursday said, Olopade, the new director general of the National Sports Commission, is a sports administrator with many years of experience in the sector. He served as a commissioner of youth and sports in Ogun State and was chairman of the local organizing committee of the 2024 National Sports Festival. The new director general, so they're now reading out their CV somewhat. This never used to be the tradition. Under Buhari, for instance, somebody minister under Buhari. The new Director General of the National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism, Dr. Ibisoye Fagade, is a marketing communications professional. He is the founder and managing director of Sodium Brand Solutions. Adedokun, the new helmsman of the Bureau of Public Procurement, was the director of research/training and strategic planning at the Bureau before its appointment. So that's in-house, because a particular specialism is needed for that sort of a space. You don't just lump anybody there. The special advisor on public communications and media, Mr. Daniel Bwala, is a lawyer and notable public affairs analyst. The president enjoins the newly appointed officers to discharge their duties with dedication, patriotism, and excellence, it added. So there is Daniel Bwala. So the only person now still hanging out in the woods is Reno Mokri. So he's the only one still hanging out in the woods. And by the way, Femi Fanikayode is also still hanging out in the woods, but yeah, so that's Daniel Bwala getting finally what he's been anchoring after. So Daniel Bwala gets finally what he's been anchoring after. So this one would have passed under the radar, but this is a big epic news for the Nigerian state. NNPC announces 1.8 million barrels per day production, ICE 2 million by year end. So this is the money starting to come back in. You know, under Buhari, it fell as low as 800,000. They invested in nothing, anything that just keep on milking whatever it is. We continue looting it until we finish off the whole country. That was their own standpoint. NNPC announces 1.8 million barrels per day production. ICE to what's actually the OPEC quota for Nigeria? I think it's 2.5 million. What's the OPEC quota for Nigeria? So the OPEC quota for Nigeria. Actually, the OPEC quota for Nigeria is 1.5 million barrels per day from 2024 to 2025. So I'm not quite sure. It looks as though we may well be exceeding our quota there. But even if we exceed our quota, certainly the excess will be used to satiate local demands. NNPC announces 1.8 million barrels per day production, ICE 2 million barrels per day production by the end of the year. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has disclosed that crude oil and gas production have risen to 1.8 million barrels per day and 7.4 standard cubic feet per day, respectively. The company, there's been big changes at the NNPC actually, but the one change that we were after, it doesn't seem as though that has happened. We were all looking forward to Mele Kyari being relieved of that, because it's the epicenter of corruption, that man as an entity. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited has disclosed that crude oil and gas production has risen to 1.8 million barrels per day and 7.4 standard cubic feet per day, respectively. The company announced this at a press briefing on Thursday. It said the feat was achieved in compliance with the mandate of President Bola Tinubu. So it goes back to what Nuhu Ribadu was saying just over the course of the week, that they have been able to tame somewhat insecurity, not defeat it, but contain it somewhat. And that is reflecting then in this sort of news. Right. The company announced this at a press briefing on Thursday. It said the feat was achieved in compliance with the mandate of President Bola Tinubu. So why, if that was the mandate of President Tinubu, what was the mandate then of Buhari, that the production fell to as low as 800,000 barrels per day? So did he not mandate that they should achieve their quota allocation? The company announced this at a press briefing on Thursday. It said the feat was achieved in compliance with the mandate of President Bola Tinubu. Speaking on development, the Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Mele Kyari, congratulated the production war room team that anchored the production recovery process. The team has done a great job in driving this project of not just production recovery, but also escalating production to expected levels that are in the short and long terms acceptable to our shareholders based on the mandate that we have from the president, the honorable minister, and the board. Kerry said, giving details of the efforts of the production war room, the chief war room coordinator, and senior business advisor to the Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Lawal Musa, explained that the feat was achieved through the collaborative efforts of joint venture and production sharing contract partners and the Office of the National Security Advisor, as well as the government and private security agencies. So that's that Tompolo, and that's the impact of Tompolo and Nuhu Ribadu right there. That's the attribution. He stated that the interventions that led to the recovery of production are cut across every segment of the production chain, with security agencies closely monitoring the pipeline. So this is what Nuhu Ribadu was saying to us. It disclosed that when the production war room team was inaugurated on the 25th of June 2024, at the time, production was 1.43 million barrels per day, but the team swung into action, culminating in sustaining the production recovery to 1.7 in August and hitting the current 1.8 in November. We are confident that with this same momentum and with the active collaboration of all stakeholders, especially on the security front, we can see the possibility of getting to 2 million barrels per day by the end of the year, Musa stated. So there it is right there. It's as simple as just providing the security for that space. Also speaking on the development, so that this now next thing we're about to hit on is the Tinubu supervisor that they are sent into the oil sector. Also speaking on the development, chairman of the NNPC Limited Board of Directors, Chief Pius Akeredolu. So that Chief Pius Akeredolu is the Tinubu agent in the NNPC space. He was the one that interviewed Tinubu when he was at where did he work for then? In one of his jobs when he first came out of university. So he was for that, I can't quite recall. But he was the one that interviewed Tinubu after that gave him a job. And that was his last job before he became governor of Lagos State. But so he's very much a Tinubu man, the inside man that Tinubu has put into NNPC. Also speaking of the development, chairman of the NNPC Limited Board of Directors, Chief Pius Akeredolu, who also congratulated the team, said he was happy to be part of the production recovery process, adding, "Today, I will leave this place with my heart full of joy." He charged the company's management to come up with a cash flow projection based on the new production figures to facilitate planning, stressing he was looking forward to further production increase to 3 million barrels per day. On this part, the Minister of State for Petroleum, Senator Heineken Lapobiri, expressed satisfaction with the performance of the team and pledged the federal government support for the company to do more. So there it is right there. The money is coming in. So there it is. These are, if you look at if you look at should I even bother? If you look at the trajectory of Nigeria's oil output, oil production barrels per day over the course of the last 10 years, this might, not 10 years, so because we're gushing them out under Goodluck Jonathan, over the last 6 years, this might well be the highest we've reached so far. So the highest we've reached so far, all thanks to Nuhu Ribadu and his can-do mentality. My vision to strengthen economy on track. So this is Tinubu now pulling the orchestra all together. So the thing is, if this guy succeeds in pulling it together within the next 18 months, 2 years, it will be in an unassailable position for re-election. It wouldn't even have to rig. It would be impossible for anybody to claim that. For somebody to reshape a whole country in just 4 years and put it on firm footing, nobody would. They cannot even be the argument that was rigged out. It'd be unbeatable if it's able to pull it together with the next 18 years. My vision to strengthen economy on track. This is Tinubu. President Bwala Tinubu reiterated yesterday that his vision to strengthen Nigeria's economy is progressing as planned. He made the statement through the National Security Advisor at the opening of the 24th Comptroller General of Customs Conference in Abuja. When I assumed office last year, has set out with a clear and unwavering vision to strengthen Nigeria's economic base and foster positive growth and development for the benefit of all. He said, 18 months later, that vision remains unchanged. It remains unchanged. In pursuing this vision, we have built upon existing foundations whilst introducing necessary reforms to adapt to our evolving economic realities. He explained that the administration's focus has been on strengthening effective policies, refining areas that needed improvement, and introducing new initiatives to address gaps. So that is how, they keep on saying that, oh, he got this wrong and he got that wrong. And especially that sort of a narrative around these students loan something that's wrapped up about 50 to 70,000 students, and they're telling us that that's a failure. Something that in its pilot stage has been that profound, and they're telling us that's a failure. But there it is. He explained that the administration's focus has been on strengthening effective policies, refining areas that needed improvement, and introducing new initiatives to address gaps. We recognize that some economic policies, though useful in their time, needed realignment with current global dynamics to better serve our national interest and the well-being of our people. Tinubu pointed out that significant economic reforms, such as removing fuel subsidies and unifying the exchange rate system, were essential steps towards creating a more transparent and sustainable economic framework. So anybody that comes in now, because these are his seminal marquee, I'm really looking forward to the 2027 elections to see how the arguments are presented. Because if you look at the marquee spaces for Tinubu now, it's the Lagos Calabar super highway, the Sokoto Badagry super highway. So those ones, the Students Loan Initiative, the Credit Core Initiative, the removal of subsidy in petroleum, and the removal of subsidy in the foreign exchange spaces. So those 6 spaces are its marquee spaces. So now, what argument will be presented to alternate that? So that is what makes the 2027 election so interesting. A lot of people say that, oh, we cannot wait. This guy has vested so much hardship on Nigerian people. They've suffered untold and unexperienced, unprecedented hardship, and all of that. The price of rice. Rice was $25,000 Buhari. Now it's 150,000. So all of that. So those are the results of the economic policies and the reforms that this guy has carried out. So now come the 2027 election, what is the counter argument? That is just where the thing is. So it's not the moral indignation and gaslighting that would not work, So there has to be an alternate argument that alternates to what this guy has done and charts a better path. And that is the only thing that can defeat him. A superior argument, not dog whistling, not saber rattling, not gaslighting, not moral indignation, not we cannot continue, not any of those. You have to present an argument that's coherent, that counterweights what this guy is doing, and then you defeat him. But what is that argument? What is that argument? Are you going to reverse? You can say he's not administered these reforms properly. That's your subjective view. But can you argue against these reforms? Or can you say you reinstate? Are you going to reinstate the subsidy in the foreign exchange space? Or are you going to reinstate the subsidy? Even the Nigerian people will weigh against you. Because for all of the pains that the Nigerians are going through now, they understand what is. Nobody can tell me that, because Nigerians are notoriously very clever and astute and acute people. For all of the lamentations and all of the screeching and squealing, nobody can tell me that people don't understand exactly what is going on. The country was bastardized, especially by the last administration, but all the way through our history. and it needed to be realigned, otherwise the country would have completely collapsed. And all this realignment that is going on now, they are necessary, they are not even leaps of genius. These are reforms that set themselves. You know, because a further step in that direction was no longer a possibility. So all these reforms that are ongoing now, they are not even acts of blue sky thinking on the part of the sitting administration. They are reforms that set themselves. So it was a categorical impossibility that the fuel subsidy could have continued any further step than when it was brought to an abrupt halt. It was a categorical impossibility that the foreign exchange as subsidy could have gone one further step than at the point that it was brought to an abrupt halt. And those are the two things that have been impactful on the living lives of Nigerians. So those things had to happen, irrespective of whoever was there. And the management and administration of them is subjective. But could it have been, the only thing that could have been done better was that this guy could have flooded the country with food. That was the one misstep that I would say he has made. But outside of that, is it the CNG policy that provides an alternative to petrol, which ultimately will counterweight and then tame the price of petrol? Is that what you say? Is that what you say is about? So where is the argument that defeats the reforms? You know, that's where the thing will be in 2027. So all this, we cannot continue like this, and that's tedious, whatever it is that Obi does in that sort of retarded voice. The dog whistling, it won't work. It never worked. And by the way, Soludo warned him about it, that Nzobo politics can never win an election in Nigeria. He found out in 2023, and he'll find out probably even worse in 2027 if it doesn't change tack. But Tinubu pointed out that significant economic reforms, such as removing fuel subsidies and unifying the exchange rate system, were essential steps towards creating a more transparent and sustainable economic framework. These, he said, would redirect resources into productive investment that will yield long-term benefit for Nigerians. So, I mean, it's just so basic. It's just the political will to do it, and this guy has the testicular fortitude. Whilst this decision required short-term adjustments, they were necessary for sustainable economic growth and prosperity for Nigerians, he affirmed. He also praised the role of key government institutions, specifically the Nigerian Customs, in advancing the country's economic transformation agenda. Our vision required government agencies to proactively align their responsibilities with broader national economic objectives. The NCS has risen to this challenge by introducing significant reforms that align with global best practices. He commended the Customs Service for its modernization initiatives, including the Advanced Ruling System and Authorized Economic Operator Program, which have enhanced trade facilitation, improved port efficiency, and made Nigeria a more attractive place. And by the way, the biggest ship has berthed within Nigerian shores. Just the biggest ship ever. I think it was it from Korea or whatever. So there it is. Nigeria on the up and up. Nigeria on the up and up, but the Naira on the down and down. Naira depreciates to 1,740 to the dollar in parallel market. I still insist that people should be buying Naira and stockpiling it, because that currency is going to take a pardon me. In the short to medium term, no, not even the short term, but in the medium term, that currency is going to have a sharp appreciation that will suddenly it will sidestep the market. It will catch the market off guard. Naira depreciates to 1,742 the dollar in parallel market. The Naira yesterday depreciated to 1,740 per dollar in the parallel market from 1,735 per dollar in on Tuesday. Similarly, the Naira appreciated to the Naira appreciated to 1,645 per dollar in the Nigerian autonomous foreign exchange market. So is that the official market? So the chasm is getting wider, which opens that room still for that arbitrage. What's the difference? About 95 Naira. So if you buy sufficient enough, you can still be a billionaire. So there it is. The volume of dollar traded in the market rose by 122% to $236.84 million, etc., etc. Consequently, the margin between the parallel market and the NAFEM rate widened to 94 Naira per dollar from 45 Naira per dollar on Tuesday. So there will always be tension between the official and parallel market, but that tension really, if they can sustain it within a less than 15 Naira chasm, then that gives us the true value of the Naira. I think we have the true value of the Naira now anyway. So as they strengthen the economy, the Naira gets stronger. And as they are removing now the oil importation from that, it will happen fairly sharply. Chinese man tears Naira note after Lagos government officials reportedly sealed his company. So I hope this guy gets the same treatment as Bobrisky. I've got a let me send let me send the link. If anybody wants to come in. There's no one in at the moment, so we may well just have a short little whatnot, which we have been having quite a few of them. A Chinese national has mutilated Naira notes after officials of the Lagos state government allegedly sealed his company for violating some laws. The incident, which was caught on camera, happened at a Chinese company located along the Lekki-Epe Expressway. The video making the rounds on social media shows the moment the Chinese man brought out the Naira note and tore it right in the presence of officials. So they cannot have treated Bobrisky in the manner that they have and let this guy get away with it. I thought I saw something actually that they were going to do something about it. Let me see. Have I got it? Yes, I did have something that they were going to do something about it. I think it's been looked at, this China man. I've actually got a clip of where he tears up the Naira. So let me play you that. So here is the China man disrespecting our country.
It's Nigeria money. It's Nigeria money. It's Nigeria money. It's Nigeria money. The Chinese man tear Nigeria money. He disrespect to Nigeria. He has disrespected Nigeria. He has disrespected Nigeria.
So there it is, entire Nigeria money. I saw something actually that Lagos State was looking at him. Let me see if I can find that. I saw something that that the government is looking at the incident. That I saw that somewhere. Oh, all right. Let me play you a couple more. Let me play you a couple more clips, and then we'll see what happens next. Let me play you this one. This is do you remember the story we did yesterday about Betty Akeredolu suddenly now discovering that Nigeria is a zoo, having served as a first lady of Ondo State for 8 years, I think, or at least 7 years and a bit. So she came out to call Nigeria a zoo, and then subsequently posters came out that she was actually vying to become a senator somewhere in Imo State. So this has not gone down well with the indigents of Ondo State, and this is their take on it. Watch this. A lot of Yoruba language in this, interspersed with English.
I will just go straight to the point. You guys should read this. Very bitter indeed. We will rescue Nigeria. What a zoo country. This is coming from Betty Anyanwu Akeredolu, the wife of the late former governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu. May so rest in peace. You know, I thought this was a parody account, but it's not. This is the real person. Look at what the former first lady of Ondo State, the wife of the late former governor of Ondo State, Akeredolu, she said Nigeria is a zoo country. Nigeria is a zoo country. Mo na see am by herself. Ara nǹkan tá máa ń sọ leléyìí. Tẹ́ bá ti ẹ fẹ́ fẹ́ ọmọ Yorùbá ẹgbẹ́ yín. Ọmọ Edo wà ńbẹ̀ tó jẹ́ pé wọ́n ní respect, wọ́n wà hard working, lọ fẹ́ wọn. Àwọn ọmọ Delta wà ńbẹ̀, lọ fẹ́ wọn. Àwọn ọmọ even Hausa Fulani wà ńbẹ̀, lọ fẹ́ wọn. Àwọn ọmọ Rivers wà ńbẹ̀, àwọn ọmọ Bayelsa wà ńbẹ̀, lọ fẹ́ wọn. Ẹ ti ẹ ṣí ẹ border pẹ̀lú Ondo State, ra àwọn ọmọ gidi láti Edo State, rí wọn fẹ́. Wá lọ gbé àwọn ọmọ ojú ọ̀rọ̀ lárí, àwọn ọmọ atoko wá balẹ̀ jẹ́, àwọn ebina, àwọn elébi, àwọn bambiala, àwọn tẹlọkó wálé nìyẹn. Ẹ ti rí nǹkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ báyìí. Imagine a whole former first lady of a state is calling the country that her husband was governor of for almost 8 years. She's calling the country a zoo. I'm not surprised. Nítorí bí gbogbo wọn ṣe rí nìyẹn, I'm not surprised at all. And I want to say congratulations to my Edo people because ìyàwó ẹni tó ń fight fún city governor, Nnamdi náà ni ìyàwó yẹn o, Asun Igodaro, gbà fún yín nítorí wọ́n ti rí pé nǹkan báyìí náà ló máa wá ṣẹlẹ̀ later. Nítorí a ti preach sọ́sọ́sọ́ngbà yẹn pé ẹ̀wọ̀n kan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ ní Ondo State. See what happened in Ondo State. You know, when Akeredolu got very sick, he was living in Ibadan. He wasn't even in his state. And there were so many piles of documents that he couldn't sign. Then it got to a stage where they started forging his signature to loot the state. Both Becky, criminal, Onyoshi, Oyi, Akeredolu, both her son, the commissioner of wanting, they were just forging signatures and looting the state dry. After Akeredolu died, you guys know what she did, right? She don't even feel him. It's like she has been waiting for it to happen. She don't even feel him. Say the man don't buy. I wanna check, document. That one I waiting. She just did all about. And to the children, they will never ever occupy any political office in Ondo State for what their criminal mother said here and for what she did in Ondo State. Well, I'm happy Ondo State people, they've already come out by themselves to come and say, okay, can you just I can't even believe that I'm reading this. Honestly, when I saw this post, right, I thought it was parody account, but it's not. That is her real Twitter account, and this is what she had to say, calling Nigeria a zoo, a country where your husband was the governor of one of the states for almost 8 years before he passed. And you're coming on public for her to come and say this thing publicly. And I know what thing she don't talk behind bars. And I know what thing she did talk behind closed doors. For her to come out publicly and call Nigeria a zoo. And I know what thing she don't talk for back before. Oh my, I can't.
All right. So what seems to rankle, because there's several things about that rankles a lot of people. Actually, there are several things. One, she's a top functionary of state, so she should be presenting the counter argument that Nigeria is not a zoo, rather than concurring to that. But then is that zoo language, which is from the Nnamdi Kanu cusp, that's really what rankles the Ondo people. Because of course they think somewhat that she's going native, and that's what really jars their senses. So that's what seems to jar their senses. Let me play you this other clip. It's just some another sort of Southeastern claiming victimization. So let me play you this. I'll play you the Kegat music. We'll see what happens next.
Just, I can tell you the whole lot of things have been done, not just by me, but well-meaning Nigerians, stakeholders, who have found this to be an issue of injustice, who has also found this to appear like the last time I was there. I said it would appear that there are two sets of rules in Nigeria, one for every other Nigerian and another one for the Igbo man. Where every other Nigerian will scale certain circumstances, the Igbo man will find it very difficult to scale. But that what we thought would have been more meaningful is the invocation of sections 174 of the Nigerian Constitution that allows the Attorney General, before the determination or a judgment of the court, that he can write to withdraw the matter. There are precedents that have already been set on this. So we're just asking, well, the way they have done for Igbo, the way they have done for Sowore and many others, that Nnamdi Kanu is entitled to those fundamental rights as a citizen.
Well, you mentioned Section 174 of the Nigerian Constitution. I recall that in June, you made a direct appeal to President Tinubu, along with dozens of your colleagues at the National Assembly, urging him to order the Attorney General to discontinue the case based on that Section 174, which gives him the power to end the trial in the public interest and in the interest of justice. Did you ever hear back from the President or the Attorney General?
Like I said, we've met with the Attorney General. I've met with him several times. I've met with his Chief of Staff of Mr. President and many other government functionaries. The only person I have not met one-on-one now is Mr. President. And for obvious reasons, he has to be satisfied with the legal position and also satisfied with the security positions. So I wish to talk so much, but so much has been happening now. The confidentiality of that is also what I said as a government officer.
You can't reveal.
That I can't reveal, I can't, but I am very optimistic that after all said and done, recently, my governor, my amiable governor, Dr. Alex Oti, also talked about it, having met Mr. President, and some assurances that were given to my governor by Mr. President. Those assurances that have been given to my governor remain consistent with the assurances also that I have been given and the things that I have worked with certain circle that have been put up for this. And I'm very optimistic that within no short distance time, Nnamdi Kanu will be released from detention. Whether he's going to be released by the invocation of Section 174, or whether he's going to be granted bail, the Supreme Court, after all, said that the lower court ought not to have revoked his bail, considering the circumstances that he faced before he absconded, meaning the military came to his home, ransacked his home, and he escaped. Possibly, if he was there, he would have been shot dead, just like many others. The Supreme Court held that under the circumstances, his actions of running away was justifiable. That's what the Supreme Court said. So that since they have already said that he cannot be denied bail, it is also our desire that if bail can be granted to him, I am willing, able to countersign that bail so that he can have the ability to leave detention, at least to be able to take care of himself, see his family, and undertake other activities that such a person should.
Oh, all right. So there it is. I didn't even know that was where it was going to go. But there were two things that guy said that need somewhat to be refuted. It said that they appealed to the government to release Nnamdi Kanu for national interest and the interest of justice. So those two spaces don't apply. They don't. So if it's on the basis of the interest of justice, then there's nothing in justice that suggests Nnamdi Kanu should be released after all of his atrocities that led to the loss of so many human lives. So there's nothing that serves justice, the release of Nnamdi. If they said an act of clemency, then they could argue that, but certainly not justice. There's no justice is served by the release of Nnamdi. How is that justice served then to the lives that he led off this earth? So there's no justice in the release of Nnamdi Kanu, and there's no national interest served either. there's no national interest served, because I think the people of the north and parts of the southwest as well, even south, they are quite reticent that Nnamdi Kanu should be released. I think if you read the mood of the country outside of Southeast, the mood of the country is that Nnamdi Kanu should face the full weight of the law and let the law decide his fate. So it serves in no way national interest for Nnamdi Kanu to be released. I'm not sure that there's anybody in Yoruba land that is agitating for that. I've not heard anybody in the north championing that. They want this guy to face the law, the fullness of it. So it neither serves the national interest or justice, the release of Nnamdi Kanu. So I disagree wholeheartedly with that chappie right there. Disagree wholeheartedly with that chappie, the Kegites, and then we'll see what happens next.
Only water, where they see my water. Hapa o naido. Hapa you don't come o. Hapa o naido. Oro kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùyé o. Ide sodi kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Bobby master kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Chief Wike kẹ̀kẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùrè o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹlẹ́mùdé. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹgbẹ́ ẹlẹ́mùdódò jàre o. Eruku lẹ̀lẹ̀ Ghana ti dé ẹgbẹ́ bọ́dì o. Ọmọ ẹlẹ́yẹ ẹ̀yẹ o ó dìlé o. Olúyẹ̀lá ẹ̀yẹ o ó dìlé o. Petrosodana ẹ̀yẹ o ó dìlé o. Petrosodukẹ ẹ̀yẹ rẹ̀ ó dìlé o. Ẹlẹ́kọ̀ ọ̀run mú ìní o. Àkùkọ ọ̀run mẹ́kọ̀. Ikú kò ní ríwà gbéṣe o.
And it is right there. We've got curiously Folly B joining us. I'm not even sure if it's fully there. Folly, show me. Folly going one, Folly going twice. I don't think we have Folly B. So I think we're going to have to shut it down. So thank you everyone, and then we'll do it again tomorrow. Thank you everyone. See you tomorrow.